Hello, in this video, I will find and graph quadratic function in X-intercept form. That's the form I haven't gone over. I will also convert quadratic functions back to other forms. So what I mean is like our previous form, like convert convert vertex to standard, etc. So it's like going back and forth. So if you recall in the first lecture, one of the forms of a quadratic is an X-intercept form. And you have y, there should be, you can't really see it, but there's like a parentheses here. Y equals a, x minus p times x minus q. An example would be like y equals 3, x plus 2, x minus 5, right? It's like it's in the most factored form it can be. And yeah, we'll go over this form. Okay, so let's just start with the example one. Find the equation in x-intercept form and graph the equation. Let's go a little bit cut off. It says find the equation in x-intercept form and graph the equation when given the zeros of x equals 5 and x equals -4 that goes through the point 0, 2. So they give us three things. Our two x-intercepts is at 5 and at -4, and then they give us a point, or in our case, like a y-intercept of 0, 2. So it's going to be y. I'm going to first find the equation y equals a. We don't know what the a value is. And then they tell us our zeros are x equals 5. So how do I write x equals 5 in a factor form? It would be x plus 5. I mean, not, it's always the opposite. So it's actually x minus 5. And then how do I write x equals -4 in factor form? It would be x plus 4, right? Okay, so now what we have to do is find out the a. So that's why they give us this extra point 0, 2. So we're going to substitute that point just to solve for a. So yeah, you can substitute 0 with x, substitute 2 with y. So replace y with 2. We don't know what a is, that's what we're going to find. And then we're going to replace x with 0. So this is going to be 0 minus 5. This is going to be 0 plus 4. So this is going to be a. 0 minus 5 is -5. 0 plus 4 is 4. -5 times 4 is -20. A, and then over here you have 2, right? -5 times 4 is -20. Good. And then solve for a, so you're going to divide this by -20. Divide this by -20. I get an a value of 2 over -20. Could this be reduced? Yes, it can, by 2, right? So that would be 1 over -10. Okay, so our final equation is going to be y equals a, which is -1 over 10. And then it would be parentheses x minus 5, x plus 4. It says find the equation, and then we have to graph it. So it's really simple. When they tell us all these stuff, you could just graph from here. You don't have to go from here and then find the vertex, etc. Because there's an actually easier way. Just graph the stuff they give you. So what I mean is, our two x-intercepts are 5 and -4. So plot those two x-intercepts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 5. Dot it. And then my other x-intercept is at -4. So that would be right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then it says it goes through the point 0, 2, or it has a y-intercept of 0, 2. Okay. Dot it. And connect the 3 dots, and you will have a quadratic concave down, right? So it would look something like this. So that's your graph, and that is your equation. Okay, go ahead and pause. Move on to example 2. So that's example 3. Okay, example 2. So this time they give us a graph. So on example 2, it says find the equation in X-intercept form given the following graph. So we don't have to graph it. We just got to find the equation in X-intercept form. Okay, so recall X-intercept is y equals a, x minus p, x minus q. So do we have our x-intercepts? Yes, we have our zeros or our x-intercepts at x equals -3, and our other one is at x equals +2, right? So it's going to be y equals a. We don't know what our a is. We'll find that out later. And one of our zeros is -3. So how do I write that as factor? It would be x plus 3. And then our other zeros is x equals 2. So how do I write that as factored? As x minus 2. Okay. Now we got to find out our a value by plugging this extra given point. So our extra point is -1, 3. So that's like your x. That's what your, and 3 is like your y. So we're going to substitute those values just to solve for a. So y is 3, a, and then my x value is -1. So -1 plus 3, -1 minus 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. -1 minus 2 is -3. 2 times -3 is -6, and then you still have that a, and then you have this 3. Solve for a, so you're going to divide this by -6. So my a value is -3/6, which can be reduced by 3. So that would be -1/2. Okay, so our final equation in X-intercept form is y equals -1/2, parentheses, x plus 3, and x minus 2. Okay, so that is your final answer. Okay, I'm going to move on and do example 3. So example 3 says find the equation in vertex form. So I'm no longer asking for x-intercept, vertex form, when given the vertex is 2, -1 and goes through the point 0, 7. So it's good to remember to go back our 3 different forms of a quadratic. One is vertex. So if we recall, vertex is y equals a, parentheses, x minus h squared plus k. Okay, so they tell us the vertex is at 2, -1. So that's very, very helpful. Remember, 2 would be like our h, and k is like your 2 is like your x value, your horizontal shift, and then -1 is like your vertical shift or your k. So that would be expressed as y equals a. So if x equals, if 2 is our x value of vertex, how do I write that in factor form? It's x minus 2. If you recall, the horizontal shift is always the opposite sign. So even though this is a +2, in factor form it would be -2. Okay. And then our k is actually -1. You don't have to change the sign. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, then the next step is finding our a values. This is why they give us an extra point, 0,7. So 0 is like your x, and 7 is like your y. Substitute those values. So y is 7, x is 0, so it's 0 minus 2 square minus 1. 0 minus 2 is negative 2 square minus 1, and then 7. Negative 2 square is 4, and then times it by a, that's 4a minus 1. Solve for a, so I'm going to add 1, I get 8 equals to 4a. Divide this by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay, so our final answer is y equals to 2. And then it's x minus 2 square minus 1. Okay, fine. That's your final answer. Okay, I'm going to stop here.